Hello ladies and gentlemen, Gaming Medley here, and today we are going to be talking about some recent news that has come to light regarding Sony's PlayStation Vita 2, namely the fact that there won't be one and that they have killed their portable gaming console dead in the water. In an interview concerning the possibility of a PlayStation Vita 2 being released, SCE Worldwide Studios president Yoshida of Sony said that, quote, "It's a tough question. People have mobile phones and it's so easy to play games on smartphones, and many games on smartphones are free or free to start." He also said, quote, "I myself am a huge fan of PlayStation Vita and we worked really hard on designing every aspect. Touch-based games are fun. There are many games with really good design, but having sticks and buttons makes things totally different." So essentially Yoshida is saying that there is no PlayStation Vita 2 that will be developed at least in the near future, and that the reason for this is because he believes that smartphones have essentially killed the portable gaming industry. He's also totally wrong. The market itself has proven that there is a space in it for portable gaming consoles through the success that the 3DS and its iterations, such as the 3DS XL, have had with the market. Now, although it's true that Nintendo has more established in-house franchises such as Mario and Zelda to work with, I believe that the real reason the Vita crashed and burned while the 3DS was such a success comes down to the differing philosophies these two companies, namely Nintendo and Sony, seem to have concerning their portable gaming consoles. Sony tried to make the Vita a real established console. They did this by putting established franchise spin-off games onto it in the attempt to make it a titular console like a PS2 or a PS3. For example, there was a Call of Duty spin-off as well as many other established franchise spin-offs on the Vita. Nintendo, on the other hand, decided right off the bat to release strange, weird, wacky games on the 3DS. Yes, they did release a few larger or more mainstream games, but those were mostly in-house franchises. I believe that this showcases that while Sony thinks that portable gaming is something more than it is, Nintendo realizes portable gaming's real value. And the real value of a portable gaming console is the fact that you can have a game that's far more mechanically adept, far more graphically enhanced, and far more fun to play than a smartphone game, and yet one that won't draw you away from your main gaming consoles such as your Xbox One, your PS4, or say your PC. This is the real strength of a portable gaming console. You can play whatever strange indie games you want in a space that's confined. You can take it on the bus with you while you're commuting to work. You can play it in the bathroom. You can play it at night when you want to lie down and you don't want to be up on your couch playing a game. The portable gaming console allows you to have a, well, portable experience that you aren't able to get from your actual main gaming console, and that's what makes it so valuable. People don't want smartphone games all of the time, especially since smartphone games are more often than not pay to win, involve horrible business models, and practice horrible anti-consumer business practices that actively encourage you to pay money or leave the game after a certain period of time. This is most noticeable with games such as Candy Crush or say Angry Birds, with the company constantly advertising new ways to beat the level if you'll only pay for them. People don't always want that out of a game that they can play anywhere. It's much more effective to buy a 3DS and keep it in your backpack, because then that way you know that you'll always have a well-developed game that you're always interested in. Is it as good as a smartphone if you just want to pull out your phone for 5 minutes and just play a quick game of X generic XXX pay-to-win game? No, it's not. But gamers aren't looking for that. And I think Sony's main failing with the Vita was that they actually tried to make it have anything to do with the smartphone market. People who just own smartphones and want to get into gaming aren't going to buy a portable gaming console as their first gaming console. They are going to buy an Xbox One or a PS4. Gamers who already own an Xbox One or a PS4 and want something more substantial to play, like something they would play at home but better than what they could get on a smartphone, are the people who will buy a 3DS or a PlayStation Vita. I think that's a distinction that Nintendo made and one that Sony didn't, and I think that's what ultimately led to the Vita's death. In addition, Sony focused far too much on these larger titles for the PS Vita. The Vita's strength has historically lied not in large franchise spin-offs, but in little indie games that have served it far better. By far the most successful game on the PlayStation Vita, for example, is probably Persona 4 Golden. It was released in 2012 and currently sits at a 93 Metascore rating. Velocity 2X, the next runner-up, sits at a rating of 90. Both of these games are small, they're both weird indie JRPGs, and neither of them are the types of games that Sony initially wanted to be successful on this platform, and yet they are. This is because the strength in portable gaming consoles lies in small indie games, or in Persona 4's case, larger indie games that might either take a very short amount of time to finish or a very long time to finish, but either way offer much more time for your money than the average smartphone app does. People poured hundreds of hours into the Persona games trying to get all of the perfect endings and trying to get all the best relationships out of their characters. People play these indie JRPG experiences because they offer something that they wouldn't get from another portable gaming console or from a smartphone. This was the strength the Vita had, and by not playing to this strength, Sony essentially killed their chance at making the Vita a successful portable gaming console. Nintendo realized this and put these kind of games out on the 3DS, which is why the 3DS has been such a successful portable gaming console. Sony is attempting to throw up a smokescreen and say that they weren't the reason the PS Vita died, and that the reason that they're essentially just completely nixing their entire portable gaming industry is because the market killed it. But the market didn't kill the PS Vita, Sony killed the PS Vita. It was Sony's decision to play away from the console's strengths and into games that would essentially just end up leading the console into having a negative connotation. The reason people haven't been playing the PS Vita isn't because it has sticks and buttons where a smartphone doesn't. The reason people haven't been playing the Vita is because the games that have been released for the Vita haven't been nearly as good as the games released for the 3DS on a broad scale. I think Persona 4 is better than most 3DS games, but on a broad scale, most PS Vita games haven't been as good, at least the ones that Sony advertised, as its main competitor, the 3DS, which means that if people are going to buy a console and they look for which console is more valuable, they're going to buy the 3DS, and it doesn't have games that are as easy or addictive to play as a smartphone. So it's in a lose-lose situation between a rock and a hard place where it can't amount to anything. Now, I think if Sony had actually advertised the games that the Vita did well, like Persona 4 or Velocity, it would have done far, far better, and I think it would have actually contended with the 3DS to the point where Sony would have probably developed a PlayStation Vita 2 and we would have all been happy. I don't want the 3DS to be the only brand of portable gaming console that's alive, because that means there's no competition for Nintendo, and competition within the market is always healthy. There needs to be competition for innovation to take place. If the 3DS is the only current portable gaming console, that worries me a lot. But Sony has essentially with this announcement killed their entire portable gaming console industry, and it's nobody's fault but their own. Alright ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be all for my thoughts on this subject. Feel free to tell me what you think of this whole hoo-ha in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Feel free to leave a like, a dislike if you think the video deserves it, a comment, a share, a favorite, a subscribe, whatever you feel like doing. I look forward to speaking with you all next time. Thank you all so much for watching. GM out.